Welcome to Piccadilly Talks. It's season 4 and I'm your host, Angelique Virtue. For this conversation today, we'll be talking about the digital divide. And to have that conversation, we have our guest, Dr. Parris Lyew-Ayee Jr. He's a geospatial consultant. Welcome, Dr. Parris.
Thank you, Angelique.
It's good to have you, and I want to start with your specialty. What is geospatial science?
Geospatial science is really applied mapping using advanced technology. It is the fusion between what we would consider geography and mapping, surveying with information communication technologies. So we're talking computers, satellite systems, lasers, drones, all of those things combined, the product of which, both the ingredients and the end results, is geospatial technology.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I don't think a lot of young people, when they think about an interest in ICT, that they think geospatial science. But you talk about so many cool things that you can do if that's a career path you consider. For somebody who wants to do something in ICT, what are some of the subjects they should continue, or the areas of study, if they want to follow in your footsteps?
The focus is going to be mathematics. It becomes a fundamental basis for...
Could never have been a possibility for me, okay.
Well, shame on you.
Shame on, let's not talk about how math is taught in Jamaica. That's a different interview, but I think that was what was my challenge. But mathematics as its core, and any other attendant subjects?
You know, but geography.
Okay.
I mean, that's the fundamental one.
So somebody who loves geo and loves math would do well as a geospatial...
Precisely, and that's exactly the key difference between just a pure geographer and a geospatial scientist. Because again, just mapping and understanding north from south, east from west, or whatever, distances, trajectories, angles, all of those things are going to be fundamentally important in mapping. But even when you talk about the technology component in terms of software engineering and technology, design, engineering, etc., there's strong mathematical elements in there. But here is where we begin to drift towards the digital divide.
Yes.
Because again, just because that you are an IT person, you're a programmer, it doesn't mean that you're a geospatial scientist. You have to understand that there's an issue, a fundamental issue in geospatial science and in geography of scale. A map of Jamaica is not a map of Kingston. A map of Kingston is not a map of New Kingston. A map of New Kingston is not a map of the Pegasus property. All of these things have different implications on the usage and application of the solution.
And even self-identity too. You know, we locate ourselves and where we are from maps.
Absolutely.
And if we're not able to receive accurate information, it misinforms us.
Absolutely. And the implication of misinformation can be life and death sometimes. It can be dollars and cents. All of these things, but you have to understand the application.
Right.
So the digital divide as it relates to geospatial, I know that's not the particular focus of this interview, but the divide is understanding that a map is not a map, is not a map. So a map of Jamaica is fine if you are looking at a Caribbean or a Western hemispheric perspective.
Yes.
A map of Jamaica is not useful for you to drive from this location in Halfway Tree to Norbrook. You're going to need a Kingston scale map, not a Jamaica map. All of those things become important.
It needs to now be narrowed down for practical use.
Exactly.
And then to have attendant tools from the digital world to put it now on the platform that's accessible in the palm of the person who needs to get from point A to point B.
Understanding the user experience component of it. Just because you can build a map, just because you can create the technology to read a map, doesn't mean you understand how it's going to be used.
And that is the point of departure, isn't it, Dr. Parris? Because there are some persons who, while all the work has been done to create and to make it in an accessible format, we still find persons who aren't able to access and aren't able to engage, not only in the specific kind of technology that we've just described, but with other kinds of technological tools, you know, from learning tools to social tools. What, in a broad sense, is the cause of that? And for some people it's obvious, oh, you live here, so you live here, so, but it's not just that, is it? Why is it that some people have access and some do not?
And again, just because it's there doesn't mean it's accessible. Just because it's accessible doesn't mean it's being used, and just because it's being used doesn't mean it's being applied.
Wow.
All of those things are very important. Of course, advocates or proponents of something is simply going to say, but we have it.
Right.
But is it being used? Is there another alternative? Is there a reason why it's not being used? All of those things begin to become frustrating because the results that were promised when a digital solution or application is being rolled out, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. It doesn't happen.
I remember when tablets in schools were supposed to increase math and English passes, the contrary, and the contrary has happened. We've seen reductions in our percentage passes. And so you are right, the introduction of a technology into a space does not mean that the results that we desire will happen, because it's how we use it and it's how we apply the tools that are available to us. Outside of, clear sociological markers like poverty, I would say institutional will. If those are some of the key issues, how do we change that? Because persons like you work to ensure that we have the access. How do we change, to get better application?
I'm going to flip that slightly.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of it also has to do with let's just say the elites, the learned people.
So we have the socio-economic factors.
Talking in this fancy mumbo-jumbo.
Right.
That is not understood easily by the general population, making assumptions about the general population that they're going to eat it up and it's going to be transformative and change the world and the universe just because you have the introduction of one app. That's going to be, you have to understand, again, all of these fundamental things are occupying in the cyberspace, digital space that we're in.
Yes.
Assuming everybody is the same, assuming all young people, millennials are the same. You have rural-urban issues, you have rich-poor issues, you have educated, uneducated issues, all existing within the same millennial demographic.
Yes, absolutely.
Assuming they're all the same, assuming they're all connected, assuming they all have smartphones, sure, but are they accessing, local
the same kinds of applications
precisely,
on the smartphone?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then understanding the sociological components of it, but also the fundamental communication aspect of it. Digital technology and the divide, the access equity issues that we're talking about here today, have the ability to transform society in terms of integration of government services, of financial services,
yes,
of commercial service, all of those things. But and those technologies exist, but there are deeper trust issues within the society that don't want to give your information out, that don't want to share your location. All of those type of things result in, it's not the technology's fault.
So if those are some of the challenges, what are the best practices then? Because if as you say, the cute language and we're telling people what they need, what are the best practices then for having the results that we want? How do we bridge the divide?
Well, the first thing is, again, to ensure that you provide the access, the infrastructure, the systems in place, enabling environment for these things to happen. Now, we have done as a country, Wi-Fi hotspots in communities. We've rolled out broadband infrastructure. We still have concerns about last mile connectivity, etc. But all of these create opportunities for people, whether it's industry, individuals, entrepreneurs. All of these things can tap into the latent potential that exists in the Jamaican digital environment. At the same time,
yes,
we still need to understand and to grasp with the non-technological, non-technical, non-engineering components of the ecosystem that involve the people. Communication, trust issues, understanding. When people complain about the line at the tax office, but are unwilling to go online to do their transactions.
Correct.
Get them to understand and see their own argument.
Do you think that it is reasonable for us to take those kinds of trust issues, those kinds of reservations as important and valuable?
Absolutely.
And address them rather than saying, but you need to go, but actually meet persons from the last mile or persons who aren't early adopters to technology that we as part of the rollout that we actually have that kind of social engagement too?
It's absolutely critical. I mean, if it's going to collapse without it.
Yep, yes.
It is, and again, I'm going to call the skeptics and the doubters ignorant.
Yes.
You have to respect their own belief systems, their own trust issues, their own burned, they've been burned so many times that they give up. I respect that. It is on the backs of the innovators, the policymakers, to respect that component of the ecosystem and plan for it and build it out. And how you do it is by developing something that's reliable and something that people can be confident in. Too often we have these nice shining things and we don't maintain them, support them. We move on to the next thing, we forget about the last thing. It's just about KPIs, roll it out and collect money from it. There's something in between that's maintenance, upgrading, expanding.
Supervision.
Exactly.
Replacing parts.
But instead we throw everything out,
right.
And we have something different. I mean, one of the other issues is scale. We're a smallish country, but at the same time, we have to understand that these technologies work really good at scale. We also have to understand, again, from a data point of view, that there is a lot more value to be extracted than simply giving access to people. There's a lot of information that can be gleaned from the accessing of digital services.
Yes.
Time of day, people are online. I'm not saying what are you looking at online, but we do know that there's increased broadband activity, suggesting that this guy probably is streaming movies or music, as opposed to just checking email. Are you time of day, weekends, holidays, those things, those patterns are important. When we begin to look at internet and broadband services in schools,
yes,
do they have the right computers? Not the Windows 95 computers that were donated to them 15 years ago, that are no longer just slow and broken down or whatever. We're talking about the latest stuff. Are we making sure that our cybersecurity systems that prevent illegal or hacking or those type of
or
access,
inappropriate
things? All of those, it's a full ecosystem.
What you are suggesting, what I'm hearing from what you've been saying, Dr. Parris, is that it's not for a lack of available technology.
No.
It's not necessarily a lack of access, because you, more than anyone, knows about the build out of our fiber optics, how and what is available to us. You are suggesting that there is a fundamental issue with how we approach the introduction and the, the provisioning of these tools that is a little ad hoc, is a little ticking the box kind of thing, and not sustained, not intentional enough, because we're not a monolith. Right. So it could fit in some parishes, this approach, because the persons there have already adopted. But because Jamaica is nuanced and diverse, if we are not deliberate, we're going to have too many pockets where what is available just doesn't get to the people who need it. Precisely.
And it doesn't, and what is available that gets to people who need it doesn't get deep enough to take root.
Wow.
And again, this is where the transformation begins. And even with what the programs that HEART does, they're not looking at designing the broadband infrastructure or the IT infrastructure in Jamaica. It is really the capacity, building the capacity to operate, to use it, and engage with it, whether directly as IT professionals or IT consumers. All of whom, as we age and new generations, right now we're talking 2-year-old kids who would pick up a piece of paper like what's in your hand, and the first thing they do is try to swipe a physical piece of paper. So generationally, we're looking at a very digital generation coming up.
Yes.
But at the same time, we don't want to imbue them with bad habits.
Right.
We don't want to betray the trust and the potential of what the system can do and the potential of these young kids coming up. So there's an inherent responsibility from a non-technological space.
So this is the home now. It is the home, isn't it? Who is the agent that has this kind of responsibility to, as you say, not betray the potential of those coming up in a world where they're almost inclined naturally to, as you say, swipe a piece of paper. How do we fix it then? Since we're saying at the top, there's some issues with the kind of approach we take to the introduction. If we go a little further, we are probably, not supervising enough. The children are not realizing, oh, this is not a swipeable object. How do we bridge the divide? What are some of the things we need to begin to do?
Ultimately, we'll start with the end and go backwards.
Sure.
The end, the person responsible
Yes.
is the people of Jamaica. Everybody has a responsibility here. Now, to get there,
Yes.
we're going to have to do things like Piccadilly Talks. Think about it. Right now, the communication element, the considered communication element, not just, I'm looking at you guys right here. That is important to understanding the people, to get practitioners in the room to talk about this thing in plain English. Not text speak and, fancy enigmatic language. We have to understand, again, engaging the teachers, engaging the schools,
Yes.
engaging the stakeholders, shareholders, consumers and customers, all of these in this swirling space.
Yes.
The media, the industry, the public sector, all of these guys have their own parts to play
All right.
in terms of enabling. Right now, fundamentally, somewhere in the planning process for this series
Yes.
of Piccadilly Talk, there was a decision to have something called Piccadilly Talk.
Yes.
That kind of strategic direction aimed towards communication, aimed
Yes.
towards those types of end results are important. So the vision is going to be necessary. And then, this is what, season 4?
Yes.
That means you've gone through 1, 2, and 3 already,
We have.
moving through 4. You haven't quit after episode 2 of season 1. So that kind of sustained thing is going to be
So what you're
important.
suggesting
Stamina.
is already the Overseas Examinations Commission has moved out of what we have identified as a problem or problematic approach to providing information, and through continued conversations about different parts of education and the role we have to play is already part of the solution.
Well, the fact is that I haven't done...
Because that's what we think.
Well, no,
we agree.
No, the solution is not single. It's multiple. I have not done overseas examination, engagement with them in 30 years. But the point is that there was nothing like this 30 years ago. So you continue doing the curriculum, delivery, development, etc.
Yes.
But you also have to engage
Thought leaders.
at different levels,
Yes.
to different audiences. I'm not sure how many fifth form kids will be watching this particular show, but I can conceive of the fact that parents could watch it, or policymakers could watch it, or different stakeholders would be part of this thing. And that's where the magic happened. Just because I don't have kids, just because I did this thing 30 years ago, doesn't mean I just turn off. Because it is important, and that's why I say the people of Jamaica. You have a responsibility, both as implementers and beneficiaries of a proper tech rollout.
So you're saying having conversations that explore the issues, that gets ideas
And don't run from
there,
it.
and you're not running from the issues that you have, but you're putting the information out
Absolutely.
to people. Is one of the steps.
And sustain it, maintain it. Don't quit when it becomes hard, when you're bored, when the next shiny thing comes along. Because again, even when we talk about the problems in Jamaica with crime or whatever, you think crime is going to be solved with more police? No, it's going to be solved with better education, leading to better employment opportunities. People are going to be too busy to think about anything else.
In closing, what are the implications if we don't do what you're suggesting is part of the solution? If we continue along a line that is inconsistent, is monolithic, is filled with beautiful, words that aren't looking at the heart of how we bridge this divide, what are the implications for our future, and what do we need to make sure we don't continue to do?
Well, one of the implications is that we're going to become a case study for what went wrong and what not to do by the country that gets it right.
Wow.
Another country is going to look at us and say, don't do that. And that's embarrassing. For years, we are so content with having a study, a committee of committees, and talking a lot.
To publish reports about studies.
Exactly. Get things done. Things are being done right now. You can't say whether it's government or the private sector, any government, not one side or the other. You can't say they're doing nothing. But at the same time, the public cannot sit down and wait and say, what's next?
Oh.
Get up off the chair, do something with the access you've now been granted. And learn something, apply something, be better than you were yesterday. But you still have to understand that the implications of failure they're stark. But the reward for success is quite sweet.
Well, that's a good way to close. That's all the time we have. The implications for failure are stark, but the rewards of success are sweet. We cannot continue to ignore the issues. We must face them head on, because we do not want to become a case study of what not to do. Indeed, Jamaica wants to be part of the conversation of what success looks like. Thank you so much to Dr. Parris Lyew-Ayee for joining us. I'm your host, Angelique Virtue. Join us again for another episode.